on, everybody? It's your boy Doc Holiday. We are back with another HBCU OverDrive live stream. If you haven't done it about now, make sure that you like the stream, comment, share, and most of all, subscribe. Hit that notification bell to get everything HBCU OverDrive. And if you're looking to join the family, we do have 2 tiers for the exclusive. Excuse me, exclusive. Everything exclusive is OverDrive Purple and OverDrive Blue. All you have to do is just jump out the chat, hit the join button, and just pick which tier that you want to pick. But man, I'm back. I am back, y'all. We took a break. Stepson graduated high school on Saturday. Made a decision to go to Jackson State University. So he kept everything from me for about 5 months. But it's all good though because he gonna continue what I did, and it's gonna be a great day. But anyway, man, I know everybody's here for it. We ain't gonna waste no time on it, man. I want to bring up this guy. All I gotta say is the man dominated the SWAC for 4 years at Grambling State University, coached under 2 great head coaches in Doug Williams and Melvin Spears. Got over 13,000 passing yards. It's basically what I put on the chat on the title, SWAC Killer. I'm bringing him in. The guy Bruce Eugene in the building.
What's going on, man?
What's going on, man? Hey, man, I wanted to do this interview because I was like, man, I was like, man, where is Bruce at? I ain't seen Bruce. I haven't seen Bruce in a minute. And I'm like, hey, he here.
Yeah, man, I've been around, man, just coaching
All right.
kids up. I have a traveling 7-on-7 team that travel all over the country called New York Hustle. So we've been, hitting the road, doing tournaments and everything else, and just training quarterbacks, man. Just trying to produce the next great one.
Oh yeah, man. Oh, I think I got it. Echo in my everything good. All right, it should be good. Oh yeah, man. But I just want to start off with going to Grambling. What made you decide to go to Grambling?
Grambling that's all I knew in my family. My uncle was in the band, carried the big old bass drum. He's the one pulling the big bass drum, and then I had other mentors from the project. I was from the St. Thomas Project, like DJ Jubilee, Sean Jordan, Lawrence Dorsey, Ricky McGee. God bless the dead. You know what I'm saying? I had a lot of people from where I was from that went to Grambling, so all I knew was the G.
Right. Okay. And so you get to Grambling. You get under Coach Doug Williams. Is that correct?
Yeah, when I got to Grambling, I was with Doug first.
All right. So tell me about your experience with Doug Williams, man.
When I first got to Grambling under Doug, man, it was different. Being that he was a former, quarterback at Grambling, and all the history he had.
Mm-hmm.
It was tough early on, trying to play for him. His style of coaching and his aggressive tone and things like that. So it was different for me, but you know, uh, I stayed consistent, kept at it, and before you know it, his aggressive tone was my motivation for everything I was doing.
Right. And did you redshirt your first year when you got to Grambling?
When I first got to Grambling, I redshirted my first year, so I felt like I could have been playing as a true freshman.
Mm-hmm.
I felt that way, because practice said one thing, but I redshirted myself, Jaroszewski Lee, Aaron Thomas. We all were freshman quarterbacks. When I came in, it was what, 6 of us: Michael Mays, Randy Himes,
Mm-hmm.
J.J. Brown, Jaroszewski Lee, Aaron Thomas, and myself. So yeah, I was one of the three. I was one of the three that three freshmen that redshirted. But I didn't let it deter me. I redshirted, but what I did was I watched film. I watched film of the last year's group the whole time, and I watched film as if I was playing, getting ready to play.
Right.
And I just used that whole season as my motivation to get better, become a better quarterback. And I was looking forward to the spring game, which was my championship.
All right. And you played right behind Randy Himes, who was the actual starting quarterback that was his last year, correct?
That was his junior year.
The junior year.
That was his junior year. It was Randy was a junior, Michael Mays was a junior, J.J. Brown was a junior, and then we were all Aaron Thomas, Jarzowski, Lee, and myself. We were all freshmen. So I redshirted that year. So Michael Mays started the first game, and then Randy Himes replaced him in the second game, and then Randy was the starter the whole time until my redshirt freshman year. I started, and Randy moved to wide receiver.
Right. Oh yeah, and yeah, because I used to look. I tell people about my experience watching Grambling. You know what I'm saying? Watching seeing Eddie Robinson y'all come to the state fair for the state fair class with Prairie View. Who I feel like y'all marked as an actual homecoming game because everybody knew y'all was gonna win that game. Y'all gonna blow them out by like at least 40, 50 points. Um, how would like just playing with Doug? What type of scheme was Doug running when it that kind of that you like? I think I picked this scheme up.
Well, we were running the same offense. Pretty much he ran with the Washington Redskins. You know, Doug was a run first type guy because he wanted to run the ball and control the line of scrimmage and things like that.
I
So
mean,
we kind of was that was our offense because we had Brad Hill at running back
okay,
my first year, which I redshirted in. We had Brad Hill, we had Jadal Lawrence at fullback, we had Ashton Hawkins at fullback. I think we had more fullbacks than we had running
running
back.
back.
You know what I'm saying? We had Gershon Jesse at tight end. We had um we had another tight end from the West Coast. Oh man, Big Rashawn. Please don't hate me, but we had Rashawn at tight end. You know what I'm saying? So we were built for the trenches. So for us, that was our scheme. But um, when I took over that next year, um, that's when we kind of opened it up more because my redshirt year, we were winning games like 10-0.
Yeah,
10-9. You know what I'm saying? Like it was one of those grinding games because our defense was like so dominant.
right.
So offensively, we just don't turn the ball over, control the clock. We'll win most of the time.
All right. All right. And then so we move on from Doug. Doug gets replaced by Coach Spears, Melvin Spears. And that's when I
We
feel
wa-
like that's when you
we wide open.
you took off. Like, that's when you took off. Like uh tell me about that first season under Spears where
Well,
like
what's crazy, I started taking off kind of right before Doug left
mhm,
because when I took over the starting quarterback, remember my first start was against uh McNeese State at McNeese, and we got
okay.
blown out. And then I got replaced the very next week by Gary Cooper.
Mm,
Remember Gary Cooper replaced me at Grambling when we played
okay.
Alcorn. And I always tell people, thank God for Gary Cooper catching cramps because him catching cramps and having to come out the game. And then I went in, threw a couple of touchdown passes. We came back to beat Alcorn. And then the very next week, Doug was like, Bruce Eugene is my quarterback.
See.
Then it was like, okay, we took off then because we didn't have the running game we had with Brad Hill. So everything kind of relied on my arm and what we was doing in the spread. So we went spread, and I'm talking about we took off that year. That's when Tremont Douglas set
Mhm.
a number of records, and then it was crazy because I played with all the career leading receivers at Grambling. I played with Scotty Anderson,
Scotty Anderson. Yeah, I
then I
remember.
played with Tremont Douglas,
Yeah.
and then I played with Scotty. Sorry, I played with Scotty. I played with Tremont. I played with Henry Tolbert, and I played with Clyde Edwards. And all
See.
four of them was the top four all-time leading receivers in Grambling history.
See, that's crazy. That's crazy. Like Scotty, I remember Scotty Anderson, man. Like people said that he wasn't. I thought people said he wasn't gonna make the league. And you know what I'm saying? Here you go. You got this skinny kid, you know what I'm saying, playing receiver. Uh, who wasn't afraid to go across the middle either, playing receiver and shining in the NFL.
Scotty was that dude. Scotty was that dude. I was fortunate enough to throw to him on his pro day,
Mm-hmm.
which allowed to put me on the map for a lot of coaches because they were like, "Wow, who's this freshman?" But yeah, he was so smooth. Like Scotty was smooth.
Yeah, and so then I think the year it had to be 2005. That's when ESPN did. So my
Yeah,
memory worked. It was ESPN, right?
that was ESPN did the whole thing on us when we played the game in Houston.
Right. Tell me how did that feel as far as a major network following y'all?
It was huge, man. You know, like I tell people now, like black college nowadays, with the it's more media, it's more exposure around it nowadays. You know, because of all the different platforms that have come and grown. You know, back then we didn't have all that. If we'd had the exposure they have now, back then when I was playing,
Yeah.
oh man, it's been crazy. Imagine NILs back when I was playing.
Oh yeah. My thing is I'm old enough to know, you know, we old enough to know where you get that secret handshake.
Hey, great game, son.
Great game, so you got a dead president in your hand. You ain't got to worry about feeding yourself
Go.
for a week or two.
I used to look. It used to be like, yo, go. Hey, great game, son. Go get you a Coke. Go
See,
have your Coke, baby.
see. As long as nobody didn't say anything, that's all it was. But I mean, with NIL, man, like it's a whole different ball game out there.
Absolutely.
So it's a
Absolutely.
whole different ball game. Now you setting all these records. You passing for over 3,000. I'm trying to figure if you passed over 4,000 yards because you
Yeah,
had
it did. 3 years.
3 years. You end up really, to me, passing wise, you end up second in all time in the SWAC, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or is it?
I ended up second in passing yards. So my redshirt freshman year, you remember I only used to play like one drive a game. If I'd have played most of my redshirt freshman year, then I'd have been SWAC all time leading passer because I would have caught McNair. I was
Mhm.
only like 1,000 yards. I'm about 1,000 yards shy of catching him.
See, see, but he got the all time passing, all time, all purpose.
He got the all purpose. Now I was gonna get him all purpose because I wouldn't run the ball like that. You know what I'm saying? But passing yards, I got the record for most passing touchdowns in the career with 140. I had the record for most passing touchdowns in a season with 56 until the guy from what's that? Northern Illinois, I think. Let me say Northern Eastern Washington or something like that. I think.
Yeah, Eastern
He,
Washington.
yeah, I think he threw 58. You
Yeah,
know, so like I said, I have a lot of records in this. I have a lot of records in the SWAC. I have a lot of records myself and McNair kind of like, and Willie Totten. We kind
yeah.
of like.
I'm saying I don't think because in this day and age of NIL, I don't think any quarterback will even touch sniff either one of y'all records.
Oh man, if I was NIL, could you imagine all the NIL deals? Like, remember they used to call me the round mound of touchdown.
Oh yeah,
Could you imagine the commercials or the NIL deals for that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
see,
it was,
that's another. I'm gonna segue into that. Who named you that? Who named you the round mound of touchdown?
that was Coach Williams used to call me Fatback, and he used to call me the round mound of touchdown. That was Coach Williams with that, man.
See man, see man. So let's take it back before we get to Grambling. So you growing up in New Orleans, you said you from
I'm
the
from Uptown, the St. Thomas Project.
St. Thomas Projects. About growing up at the St. Thomas Projects, how was it growing up and what was the atmosphere like in New Orleans at that time, man?
It was crazy because when I grew up in New Orleans, it was the murder capital of the world. Remember that's when New Orleans was different back then.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Sports kind of kept me on the straight and narrow, along with my mom. You know what I'm saying? I was one of those kids that was afraid of mom.
Right.
Absolutely. Be inside before the street lights get on. So
Yeah. That's how.
imagine, like I used to be running across that project to get home when the street lights came on. So, you know what I'm saying? That was me growing up. I was fortunate to have a mother that was a diehard sports fan. She's a diehard Dallas Cowboys fan.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, man.
Diehard. So, we football was it, man. You know what I'm saying? So when I was young, when I played in youth football, I quit football. I quit football because they had me playing left tackle and defensive end, and I was one of those big kids that I felt like I could do what the skill position do.
Right.
So coach put me as a kick returner one game. I never forget. We were playing at Milne Boys Home.
Mm-hmm.
Coach put me at kick returner, and I was running the ball back, and that kid hit me so hard that I cut my wind. And I couldn't breathe. I was gasping for air and everything else. And when I finally caught my breath, the first thing out my mouth was, "I quit."
Wow.
And I took my equipment off, and I walked to the side and was like, "I'll wait for y'all when the game over." But I quit. So when I got to high school, my first high school, I went to McDonald 35. Shout out to all my boys that was there. My boy Brett was the quarterback over there, and they tried to put me as a fullback.
Okay.
Now I'm a skill position. So I transferred from 35 to Cohen, and once I got to Cohen, it was crazy because I wasn't gonna play football. I went to Cohen to play basketball.
Right.
I was a shooter. I shoot the lights out. My brother's a better basketball player than me though. When he shoot it automatically goes in. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying? But I thought I was a basketball player. I wanted to be the next Khalil Elamine. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, if he doing it at UConn, this is me. This is my lane right here.
That's your lane right there,
This
man.
is this is my lane. But they convinced me to come out for football. I came out. It was like 7 of us at quarterback. I
Mm-hmm.
was number 7.
Mm.
I never used to get reps. I had
Wow.
to come to practice, just stand there and watch. Clarence Verdun was our offensive coordinator. Kick returner from Indianapolis Colts.
Okay.
That was our offensive coordinator.
Wow.
Never used to give me reps. And one day, James Country Warren, God bless his dad, my godfather, man, look, he came out to practice one day. He was like, "Stop. I don't want nobody to throw the ball but him." He pointed at me. And I got out there. When I got out there, I was nervous, first couple of passes. And he was like, "I don't care."
Yeah.
And I started to get the hang of it. So mind you, I was number 7. So now I went from number 7 to number 2 by
Wow.
the first game.
And
By the
then what
first
happened
game
when
of the
you
year.
went
Now,
to one?
listen to what I'm saying. Number 7 to number 2 by the first game.
Mm-hmm.
The starting quarterback breaks his ankle
Ooh.
the very first play of the game.
Wow. And you went from number 2 to number 1.
So now I got to go in.
and never relinquished it.
Man, look, we lost 12-6 the first game. I threw 2 pick sixes.
Man.
that was my start, man. But it was crazy. It was crazy. That's how I came into football, and from then on, I figured I was like, look, I can do this. I put the time and effort in it. Yeah, man.
Oh yeah, man. You say you went to Madonna 35. Shout out to my boy Sylvester Moores, JSU great.
Oh yeah.
McDonald great, you know what I'm saying? And I had him on
Dude, my
the
boy Telman Gardner, my
show.
guy Telman Gardner. You know what I'm saying? All my dudes, Eldridge Lewis, Tim Blakes, my dog Kiara, I just saw on the cruise. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, man, that's my people over there at 35.
Yeah. I had Sylvester on the show a couple months ago, earlier in the year. So he was telling me about his whole thing when he was at McDonough. Uh, so we get to it. You get to Grambling, and you got the Grambling in was it 03, right? Is it 03 or 04?
I got the Grambling in 2000.
2000. And yeah, I'm old. I'm old, man. I'm old. So you get to Grambling in 2000, and like you said, you redshirted. You played a little bit during your redshirt season, then you took off in your redshirt sophomore year, and after that, you say you never looked back. Um, Now we had a situation that was not caused by man, but it was caused by nature, which was Hurricane Katrina. And as we saw in the little clip, that you had your people in Grambling with you to to evacuate out of the city. How was that experience right there, man?
It was scary. It was scary when it first happened because phone lines and everything else trying to get in touch. Everybody trying to reach out to their people, and I couldn't get in touch with them. At that point in time, I was living off campus, right there on Bernard, on North Bernard Street, 319 North Bernard.
Mm-hmm.
That was my little spot. So, my roommate, my best friend Cameron Simmons, you know what I'm saying? I asked him, I said, look, man, my family evacuated. If it's cool if they come up, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, come on, man. Your family is my family. So we had about eight people in my little 3-bedroom house.
Uh,
We had everybody with them. My mom and brother, my sister, all of them came up. I had my guy Eldon. I had my boy Roland. You know what I'm saying? Like we had I had a lot of guys come on up, and I got to thank Grambling and the city of Ruston. You know what I'm saying? Because they really looked out for my people when they were up there. Um, they made sure they didn't want for anything. They were there waiting. You know what I'm saying? Like pretty much waiting on call for to make sure everybody was good. And even in terms of me, I was fortunate enough to allow them to be in the house, and I got to stay in the hotel just to kind of have like some peace to myself to get ready
mm-hmm.
for school and to get ready for school and games and things like that. So yeah, man, it was tough initially, but it was a blessing because they kind of kept me going and motivated my last year.
Okay. So I said you was I said you was a SWAC killer because you went through the SWAC. You went 4 years through the SWAC. Um, you went 4 years through the SWAC, and nobody couldn't touch y'all.
Nah.
I think they say your mic is muffled, man. So
Oh, mine, you hear me?
yeah, okay, now we can hear you.
Okay.
So you go through the SWAC. You win 4 SWAC titles, 4 straight years. You won a national black championship in that time period. Tell me what was the hardest game throughout that time period that y'all faced. Like,
We didn't win 4 in a row. We won 3 in a row. Then we won three. Then we took a little 2-year hiatus, and then we finished my last one. Um, the hardest game, it would always have to be something in the Bayou Classic. You know what I'm saying? Like I would say the hardest game I had was the one that I lost the Bayou Classic 44-41 in the Superdome. That's the one when they had my crying face all over.
uh,
You know what I'm saying? Like that's the hardest game that I would say that we lost. Um, Either that one or the McNeese State at Grambling. Man, we had them on the road. We had them on the ropes. They were the number one team in the country, and we had them in the hole. And we let them out. Every time I think about it, I just get chills because we let them out, man. We let them
yeah,
out. So it would be those two: McNeese State at Grambling and the 44-41 Bayou Classic in New Orleans.
and I know I'm gonna say it just like this. Y'all beat the brace. You beat the brace out of my school, Jackson State. You know.
Yeah, y'all never know what's crazy with y'all. They used to always talk about, oh, wait to Jackson, Grambling, and all this and everything else. Y'all never was a challenge. Y'all never was a challenge to us. Even when y'all had Robert Kent, it never was close.
Oh man, I was
Remember, because
like,
remember
it
when
was.
y'all had Kent, when it
Oh
was
yeah,
supposed to be me versus Kent, and that was 2002. Supposed to be
yeah, that
Eugene
was
versus Kent at Grambling and everything else. Man, we smoked y'all. That's when we had the little fight. That's when they had the little fight on our
man,
ramp going up to the locker room.
man. All I know is that time period for us with James Bell as our head coach, that no person from Jackson State wants to remember that because we couldn't beat y'all. We really couldn't beat anybody.
Yeah.
So it was like pouring salt on the wound.
No, I love playing against Kent because Kent was a gunslinger like myself.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it was crazy because I never get when we played at Grambling, we beat y'all by like 3 touchdowns, but he was out there throwing it, and he was throwing it, and he was throwing it because that game there, I think he threw for about 400, 500.
Mm-hmm.
I threw for about 400, and I ran for like another 150.
See,
You know what I'm saying? Like that game there was crazy, but he had like 3 interceptions.
man, that was I was like, you know what, man, I couldn't take them years with Bell at the helm. Like none, and most of my I'm gonna tell people most of them that's my channel. Most of everybody's Jackson State, but you know I'm branching out to everybody. But we tell everybody we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that time period.
What time y'all talk about when my boys at quarterback, Jimmy Oliver?
I mean with Jimmy, then you know with Casey,
Casey.
um, and then after that, we really didn't get too much traction because we was cycling coaches like every 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Until AD Robinson pulled a jack move and got Dion to Jackson, and then you know like 2 years straight, Shador.
Yeah. Jimmy kind of put y'all back on the map though.
Yeah, Jimmy did put us back on the map.
Jimmy put y'all back. Jimmy had that funny style, but Jimmy used to get the job done.
Jimmy put us back on the map. Casey kind of tried to take us
Tried to
over.
solidify y'all.
Yeah, solidified us, and then basically once they fired Comedy, that's when it went downhill, man.
Yeah, Prime came in and put on for y'all. Now TC got some big shoes to fill because
Yeah,
if they fall off, then you know it's gonna be all we is. You know how it is. So I hope he does a great job though. Don't beat my
yeah.
Grambling Tigers, but I hope he does a great job.
But we got last season game. I don't know what was going on. I mean, I know it was hot. It was hot. You know, we was in Jackson. It was in Jackson. It was hot. There was no water and everything like that. So, uh, I mean, y'all started out fast. Y'all
We
did
was competitive. We was competitive until
competitive.
halftime.
Mm-hmm.
And I told one of my alumni friends called me, and they was like, "Oh, you see, we're keeping up with Jackson." I said, watch after halftime. We're not going to make adjustments, and they'll make adjustments. And sure enough, when we came out of halftime, what happened? We kept the same game plan, didn't make adjustments,
Yeah,
and you guys just
yeah. It was the defensive line was getting to Shador. Um, Crucial turnovers in the red zone. Um, the one run,
what's that
Maurice
about
Watson,
Washington? Yeah,
going straight up the gut. Uh, I just like okay. I was kind of I wasn't irritated, but I was like okay, I'm just trying to see what's going on, what's happening. Next thing you know, second quarter, second half, I don't know what Dion said to them boys. I do not know what that man said to them. All I know is it came out in the second half and they just ran away with it.
yeah. It was like they just pimp smacked us.
Uh, how do you feel about Coach Hugh Jackson as far as with taking control over Grambling?
You want me to tell you truly? You want me to lie to you?
We don't do no sugarcoating over here, man. The
You
missus
know,
will tell you we don't sugarcoat on the show.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. And I interviewed. He interviewed me. I didn't get it. I felt like I should have been on his staff, being that what I've done for Grambling. how
Mhm.
I can help in recruitment and everything like that. So I feel like I should have been on the staff as a quarterback coach. If you didn't want to bring me on the office coordinator, it's fine. But I feel like as a quarterback coach or even the offensive analyst or something, I should have been on the staff. You know what I'm saying? Like you brought on um, he had Kincaid on the
Yeah.
staff last year, and then you brought on this year when we spoke. I asked, was he going, could I interview for quarterback? He was like, he was going to do it. And you brought on Lee Hall.
Mhm.
They brought on Tony Hall. I'm going to say my boy from ULM. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my guy. But even then, he's a running backs guy. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So you still need somebody at the quarterback position to work them guys out. You can see when you watch us play
Mhm.
that our quarterback play hurts us.
Yeah.
You know
It
what I'm
was,
saying? Like
and it was
we're sporadic.
a carousel. Yeah, it was spread. It was a carousel. Like it's
Absolutely.
like it was like I'm trying to figure out who you gonna put in. Like eh, I had I had family that went to Grambling also, but I'm like they asked me because I cover I cover football, HBCU football and everything. They like, man, like that, what is going on? Like what is Grambling doing? And I was like, what you need to do, because I know you can't. I'm telling you, I know you can't make all the games, but you need to come to the State Fair Classic and you need to see how they play. Um, and when I say that it was not that great, it was not that great.
hmm We were sporadic, man. And like I said, like last year, my choice, I would have just go ahead instead of doing the quarterback carousel. I would have just went with Calvez and
Alves,
got him ready to go. You know what I'm saying? He was the best dual threat you had. You know what I'm saying? Even though he's a freshman, you simplify the game plan, make it easy on him. You know what I'm saying? Then let him, you can kind of control his growth and his development and everything else. Like
hmm
that's what you could have went gone with, but I don't know. Hopefully there's something different. You know, we got all these QBs and everything else we bringing on and all this stuff like that. Like I just want us to get back to our winning ways, man.
Okay.
Whatever that looks like. You know what I'm saying? Like get back to us.
Yeah, and I have a co-host that come on the show most of the time named Mr. Ford. He's a Grambling alum also. And his whole thing is you have to have your blue bloods be strong in this conference, which Grambling, y'all are blue blood.
Absolutely.
Because when you talk SWAC, you can't talk to SWAC and not put Grambling in the whole picture.
Yeah.
Can't talk to SWAC without putting Southern. Can't talk SWAC without putting Jackson State.
Absolutely.
I know those are your three blue bloods right there. And then you can go into say with Alcorn. You can go into say,
Yeah. Auckland had their time.
mm-hmm. Now you got FAMU in in the conversation. But those three names that I churned out the first time, you got to keep them strong and they got to be competitive. And if it's not competitive, your conference is going to be weak.
Yeah.
Um, what do you think? How do you feel about this team for this year for Grambling?
I don't know. It's you don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't know who the guys are. You know what I'm saying? Like even from the spring game wasn't like amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like we ran trick plays in the spring game.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like we don't know. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing that scares you because you don't know.
right, right,
So, it's gonna be it's gonna be a learning curve, for everybody that's watching Grambling football. It's definitely gonna be a learning curve just to try to see, what I'm saying, who we are. What's our identity? You know,
right.
we don't know. Uh, you know, I'm gonna try to catch as many as I can because, like I said, I'm just I'm a Grambling guy. You know what I'm saying? You cut me open, I bleed black and gold. You know what I'm saying? So it's just we don't know. We don't know. I don't know. A lot of my former teammates, they don't know. Like nobody knows.
Right. So now you in New York and you had a quarterback that you coached up, Noah Biden,
Yeah,
and you send him down to your alma mater to Grambling, and it did not turn out the way that it's supposed to turn out.
yeah.
Now he transfers and goes to the rival to Southern.
Mm-hmm.
What was your initial thought about when all that happened with Noah?
So what's crazy is when the stuff with Noah went down, when Hugh came in and took over, uh, Hugh called me. Hugh called me, was like, "Hey, I want to interview you for possibly offensive coordinator, quarterback position. I hear your quarterback is here." We talked about Noah. Um, he brought my guy Ted White in. Ted White and I talked on the phone for about 30, 45 minutes about Noah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we did everything as if it was moving on as Noah's the guy.
Right.
You know, when Ted left, Ted told me, I told Hugh to bring you in. You know what I'm saying? So keep that continuity going, everything else and all that. Hugh decided that he was gonna coach the quarterback position. So I didn't say nothing, didn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then they moved on. They went with John Simon as the offensive coordinator. So John and I was talking.
Which I
You
should.
know, everybody's telling me such a great job he's doing, what he's doing, and everything else, because everybody knows that's my kid.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I told them, if Noah's not doing what he needs to do, a phone call should have been had. I should have received the phone call. Hey,
Right.
Bruce, Noah's not doing this. We need him to be more of this and everything. It's like, I should have received that. So, you're telling me my kid's not doing all this, but no one ever picked the phone to call me. But I'm getting a different story from the players.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, when it went down and everybody's like, I moved him. I didn't move him. Hugh cut him. Hugh called him into the office,
Wow.
told him, like, look, we go in a different direction. You know what I'm saying? You won't be the quarterback here at Grambling State. Have a great day. That was it.
Hmm.
That was the conversation. No rebuttals, nothing. That's it. So
That's crazy.
I was at a tournament. I was at a 7-on-7 tournament when he called me. Noah called me crying.
Man.
What's wrong? Coach, Hugh just cut me. What you mean just cut you? Coach, he just called me to the office and cut me. So now this is the last week of school.
Mm-hmm.
What are we to do? Like, are we supposed to worry about people's feelings and what's next, what school you decide and everything else?
Right.
No. Like Bramlett wouldn't worry about his feelings, wouldn't worry about mine. So I was like, nah. So we went ahead. I put him out there. I got a call from FAMU, Norfolk State, LIU here in New York.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Southern called me. So I told him all the schools that called me and reached out. He drove down to Southern, took a visit. He liked it. He liked what Coach Dooley was talking about and things like that. And remember, Jonathan Williams was down there. So, he liked all that.
Mm-hmm.
He told me, he said, Coach, I want to go to Southern. I want to play against Grambling. I want to beat them and show them what they gave up.
Whew.
So he made that decision to go. One thing about me with my kids, once you make a decision, I'm with you till the wheel fall off.
Right.
Regardless of how people find it. Not granted, everybody tried to nail me to the coffin, talking about, oh, I transferred him to Southern. You don't even know the deal. You don't know the story. But that's fine with me. I'll take that. I'll take that. And that's how it went down. He just did the same thing to my 6'8" offensive lineman.
Wow.
My lineman, Chris Chernak, he just did the same thing. Called him in the office and cut him. You cut him saying that he can't play for you. And UMass, San Diego State, Old Dominion, everybody else think otherwise.
Hmm.
So he just committed. Southern even offered him too. He just committed to Old Dominion, he just told me.
Okay.
He committed to Old Dominion. Now, this is a kid, 6'8", 325.
Hmm.
You can't get it together. You can't coach him up. You know, I guess they felt like he didn't fit what they were doing, so he'll be at Old Dominion.
Old Dominion's coming up. They are in I think Conference USA, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's my guy Ricky Rain over there. Ricky Rain, the head coach. I knew Ricky from when he was OC at Penn State and stuff like that. Well, my guy Joe Moorhead and all the rest of them. So that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, he's been doing it. He's been building it the right way. So, yeah. But I just want y'all to know though, my son is coming up the pipe.
Tell the truth. Tell your truth, man. Tell your truth.
My son has already received a scholarship offer from West Virginia. He's not a quarterback. My son is in the trenches.
All right.
Right now, he just turned 15 on April 25th. He's 6'1", 225 right now. He plays defensive end. He's at Kell High School right now.
He said he ready.
Look, it's in his blood now.
Hey man, but look, tell your truth here, man, because I can tell people you don't sugarcoat nothing on this show. If we see something wrong, we're gonna call it out. And to me, man, just by him, just by that, just listen to that, and knowing that your offensive mindset, I see why Grambling struggled last year. I'm just saying, I seen why they struggled last year, especially offensively. Defensive wise, is to me
they're solid. Let me say defensively, they do a great. He did a great job, even in the 3-3 stack they were playing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying, they did a great job. Even this past year, I think like it was crazy. Their defense flew around.
Yeah,
like they played, but offensively it puts them in the hole because they don't score enough points.
Yeah. Oh man, I got a question for you. What did you think about when Coach Jackson took the G off the helmet?
I was upset. I was upset for the simple reason. What's the G got to do with you winning and losing? What's the G like? That should have been established prior to the season. They should have earned their G's prior to the season. Because Coach used to always tell us that G is not for the current people that are playing. That G is for the ones that came before you.
Right.
That's what that G represents. All those players that came before you, when they see that, they know you holding it down. You know what I'm saying? Like him taking off the helmet, like we looked average.
Yeah.
We really looked average. And like I said, it wasn't the G that was stopping you from playing. It wasn't the G that, didn't cause you to throw the ball, make the tackle, and everything else. That G didn't do you anything. That was just bad habits. That was not having the want to, you know what I'm saying, to get it done.
Yeah, I watched, like I said, I watched a couple of Grambling games. I was at the game, like I said, I was at the State Fair Classic this past year. My mom was and my mom's a big football fan, and she was like, "Son,
who is that?
Who is that?" She know it's Grambling. She know it's Grambling, but she's like, "Who is that?" I said, "Mom, they ain't got the G on their helmet." What? And she was like, "This is her words. What type of shit is that?"
Absolutely. That's all of my former teammates. All of us, we talking to all my former teammates, all of us. Like, that was our words. Like, what is that?
Even the missus, she asked me, she's like, "Hey, ain't they supposed to have a G on their helmet?" And I was like, "Yeah." She said, "Why they take it off?" They said, these are words that came out of his mouth. They wasn't producing on the field. They had old habits that they couldn't break. So he took the G off the helmet. They had to earn the G to put the G back on the helmet. And I'm like, no, you do that in the preseason.
Didn't we lose during that time?
I think it was either 3 games or 4 games y'all lost without that G on the helmet.
And he still
and,
put it back on.
and he still put it back on.
So what we got accomplished?
Nothing. I'm gonna be real with you. Nothing. Like because, like I said, it, during NFL during preseason, before you put that, like with the Cowboys, before you put that star on your helmet, with the 49, before you put that 49 the SF on your helmet, you got to go out there, like you literally got to go out there and earn it.
Yeah.
And if you felt like they didn't earn it during the season, that's indicative to you and your way of coaching. Now what you telling me now, I got some I got some questions, and if I could get Hugh Jackson on here, I got some questions for him. I know he ain't gonna come on. I ain't gonna say my little show, but I know he might not come on the show. But my whole thing is I have some questions because of the simple fact that you've been an NFL, you've been an ex NFL head coach. No matter if you win 1-15, whatever. You been an ex NFL head coach, ex NFL quarterback coach, offensive coordinator. You know things that go on before you even suit up for your first preseason game or your first regular season game. Like everything, you got to be. You start off on a clean slate. Earn it during that time. And if you feel like if you feel like said person or said players are not getting it done, bench them.
They shouldn't be playing.
They
They
shouldn't
shouldn't
be.
be playing.
They should not be playing. They should be sitting on the bench. And here's the thing: it should be the position coach is going in there and telling them, "What are y'all doing wrong? Now let's correct. Let's get and correct this."
Yep.
And I'm not a coach or nothing. I'm a manager, but you know what I'm saying. I'm not a coach or anything like that. And I know that for just that much right there. But it's crazy though, man.
Yeah.
Because like I said, if you was on that staff, hell, I say if Dr. Travion Scott would have called you and said, "Man, look, we looking for you to be the head coach." I know, I know in my heart that this man is gonna try to wreak havoc on the SWAC because he know it like the back of his hand.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the first thing I'm gonna do is, excuse me, the
Uh-huh.
first thing I would do is look at all the great players I played with, the Jason Hatches.
Oh yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like I played with Jason Hatches, the Robert Taylors. You know what I'm saying? Like all those guys, Tremone Douglas, and all of them. Like we have the pedigree to get this done in house. We have people in places. You know what I'm saying? We have like there was no need to do that because I felt like us going out to try to get Coach Hugh was us trying to copy off of Jackson State making a big splash.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, remember, we were the first ones to make such a splash when we hired Coach Williams.
yeah. You did. That was correct.
So we like with tone setters, we set the tone already. We already did that. They trying to catch up to us in Grambling, what we doing. But we looked like we became the followers, the little brothers when we made that move. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? And then we made the move and look, Coach Hugh is Coach Hugh. I don't what he does, but Coach Hugh is not Coach Prime. Coach Prime has an aura about him.
right.
He has that aura that everybody that's infectious, that everybody want to run to and be a part of what Coach Prime is doing. You know what I'm saying? Coach Hugh don't have that same type of, you know what I'm saying, infectious spirit that Prime has. You know, Prime can say, yo, I played this, I've done this. You can put the film on. You know what I'm saying? Like that's another thing. People gonna run to Coach Prime, and guess what? They watch him be the number one DB in the league. They watch him do all this and everything else. We can't put on film of Coach Hugh.
Right.
So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's how kids are today. Put on film of Coach Hugh. You can't find that. Put on film of Coach Prime. You can find, okay. You know what I'm saying? But you can say put on film of Bruce Eugene. Put on film of Tremont Douglas. You know what I'm saying? Put on film of, you know what I'm saying, Jason Hatcher. Put on film of Greg Fassett, Jason Banks. You know what I'm saying? Like Robert Taylor, Terrence Dukes,
Mm-hmm.
Kelvin Spears, Kelvin Pearson. You know what I'm saying? That they can put on and see people making plays. You know, Henry Tolbert, Clyde Edwards. Like, they can put on film of them. So that's why I felt like he could, one of us that was in house, Byron Brown. Like, we could have, one of us in house could have taken that job. And guess what? We know what it takes to be a G.
Right.
We know what it takes to play at Graham, to be on and everything else. So, you know what I'm saying? They went with Coach Hugh. Like I said, I wish him the best. I'm Grambling through and through. You know what I'm saying? Regardless if I like the hire or not, I'm Grambling through and through. And I'm always going to ride with my school.
Yep. And I don't understand. Even when like you tell me, he called you. You talked to him about the offensive coordinator position, and then we turn around and hear that he hired Art Browse, you
And
know, who is
that
a
situation was crazy because he told me it came down. He told me I was one of the last two, myself and Ted White. He said he went with Ted White because Ted White was his first option, and if Ted anything changes, then he'll double back and come to me. So when Ted leave, I didn't get the phone call. You know what I'm saying? But you try to hire Art Browse. You know what I'm saying? Then when that went crazy, you went ahead and hired. You went ahead and gave the title to John Simon.
yeah.
You know what I'm
Which
saying? So it's like,
I shake my head at that.
but I'm still like, at any other school. If you look at any other school or any of the PWIs, and I played there, if I played in the PWIs in any other school, they would have a job for me on campus. Where this campus something, because of what I've done playing for Grambling, the records broken and everything else, how my name and recruitment wise can help. They would have found a job on campus for me somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my thing is how can my own school, you hire Hugh Jackson, whatever, my own school don't want to hire me? That's nothing.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
So that's why when if all the people out there like, yo, how can you expect me to be loyal to an institution that ain't being loyal to me?
And let's I'm gonna let people know when he's talking about Ted White, we talking about Ted the Flight White that was a quarterback at Howard University,
Absolutely,
who is a MEAC legend.
absolutely.
See, you gotta you gonna hire between a SWAC legend and a MEAC legend. Hell, you could have had one as an offensive coordinator, the other could just be the QB coach,
Or something.
or flip, or vice versa. That is crazy right there, man.
Let me tell you something. Ted White, the offensive coordinator, yo, Ted got the years. He got the experience. You
Yeah,
can do that. Bring me on offensive analyst or something. But think about now that's another offensive mind
to
in the
add,
room with Ted. And you know what I'm saying, Coach Hugh, they call Coach Hugh the quarterback whisperer. Now with you, so now it's another offensive mind in the room. And you still had John Simon as the wide receiver coach.
yeah.
So it's like, what are we what are we doing here?
See, man, and that's just like I said, that's just crazy because, like I said, we don't sugarcoat nothing. Speak your truth on here, um, and it is, to me, it is what it is. So that he's going into his second, Hugh's going into his second year, um,
This is second?
second year, yeah.
Oh.
Um, he brings, now is a little bit more higher expectations from what I saw last season, and is supposed to kind of make that jump to contend in the SWAC West.
So what happens? Answer this question. What happens now that we have a year like last year?
If you have a year like last year, if I'm the AD, I don't like asking for nobody's job, but I'm gonna have to reevaluate because then that will be that's a failed experiment. Now, now, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna go back to hit? Is AD Scott gonna call you and say, "Hey, are you available as far as at least leading the team, you know, leading your alma mater. I mean, because we've seen it done before. Yeah, you just had Roger Files as, you know what I'm saying? And he'll G just like you, he'll G man through and through. And
Absolutely.
he played under Eddie Robinson. You had G Man come up in there. Fobbs, Doug Williams. You know, just I just think that it, like you said, if it's a season like they had this, if it's a season like they had last season for this season, yes, I'm gonna reevaluate everything. Like, like you're gonna have to, like, to me, I just feel like you got to clean house. You have to clean. You have to clean house because now that's kind of like it's like a stain on
Yeah.
the program. And Grambling is not known for losing like that.
We don't like I tell people with us at Grambling when we came in, even when we came in, it was like we don't rebuild, we reload.
Right.
That was the motto. We don't rebuild, we reload. So every year it's championship or bust.
And then too, you had, and I say this. I watched Kincaid when he was in high school. So I'm from Dallas, man. So I watched Kincaid when he was at Skyline. You had Kincaid, who is, that man don't like turning the ball over. He hates turning the ball over. He is methodical when he plays. Uh, you have another mind in Kincaid to go along with you and Ted White in that in on that offense. Having y'all three with a y'all at least could have scored at least 40 points a game.
Man, look, it could have got ugly. Yep, it could have got ugly.
Man, so we speaking the truth, but uh let's get to, man. We had this list. It was a list from on last week of the great the top 10 HBCU quarterbacks since 2000. One person had a kill glass as number one, and you as number two. The other dude had you as number one.
He had Tavares number one, had
Yeah,
me too.
Tavares number one,
And me too.
and you too. I even talked to them. They my partners, man. They cool with me. I was like, bro, Bruce got to be number one on both of y'all lists. Bruce had to be number one. Like Bruce is number one by far. And then after that, you could go from Bruce Eugene number one, 2 through 10. Y'all could discuss that. I- it, but you came on there, you hit him up and like, hey, how am I ain't number one, bro?
You know what they say? Men lie, women lie, numbers don't.
Hey,
Because
13,000 yards, 140 touchdowns.
but then it just goes like, what's your criteria for choosing the top 10? I saw the guy put, he put Tavares because he made it to the NFL, but you didn't say, what I'm saying, top 10 quarterbacks that made it to the NFL. You say top 10 quarterbacks at HBCU. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's your, and then you got to look at, I never lost to Tavares, ever. Akil Glass never beat Grambling.
I always said the kill glass being on Alabama A&M. He
Remember,
was
Akil Glass lost to my kid. Noah Bolton's first start was against Akil Glass. And Grambling beat him at Grambling. And I was there to watch it. And Noah outplayed him. And
wow.
it shocked me because I thought Akil would be way far along than he was. He struggled reading defense. He struggled reading the cover 3 defense that Grambling was playing in the 3-3 stack. He was afraid to make the throw to the wide side of the field. That was wide open every time.
Man, that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So when I'm watching the game, I watch the game from a different lens.
Right.
So, when they put it, I just had to put the whole men lie, women lie, numbers don't, because it's like where could you even like? It ain't even close numbers wise with any of those guys. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like, I think in numbers, if you go numbers, the closest person, Akil Glass would be the closest person next to me because he played 3 to 4 years. So
Yeah, he played 4 years. Actually,
he
he
would be
played
the,
five.
but
Yeah,
yeah, but he would be the closest one. But see what I'm saying? Like even then,
he played 5. Now, if you would have said took off 2000 top 10 SWAC quarterback or top 10 HBC quarterbacks of all time, then of course you probably be number
I'd
2.
be second.
You be second. There. We've already had this argument.
And
You had this
and I'm
argument.
gonna ask you this. And I'm gonna ask you this. What do we? What is this on? Top 10 quarterbacks, total yards, passing yards, passing touchdowns.
Right.
what what statistical category we go? Are we just talking about overall that you feel like number one over time? So
Hey, second behind Steve McNair. You be second behind Steve McNair.
I'll take that.
And then 3 through 10, that's a whole argument that everybody else can have right there. Because then you
Now,
can even put Willie Titan in at
I'm about to
third.
say now you got Willie Totten.
You could put like there. You could put a Killa at 4. You could put Robert Kent at 5.
Let me tell
You
you
could
something.
put
Akil wouldn't be in the top 5. Probably the
ooh
top 10.
hold on now. He
Come on,
said
man. Let's think
he's
about this, right? Let's think about this. When I played, right? Let's think about
yeah.
this when I played.
Oh yeah.
You had Quincy Reshaw.
Who's a dog?
You had Darnell Kennedy. Prior
Who's a dog?
to prior to Tavares.
Yeah.
You had Darnell Kennedy. Then you had you had Robert Kent. Then
Robert.
they forgot you had TC Taylor before Robert Kent.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? Who else? You had the guy from Texas Southern.
Hey,
Is it Lamb?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You had him who was throwing the rock. You know what I'm saying? Like you had dudes. You had Aries Nelson that put Valley back on the map.
Right.
Because remember, Valley was nothing until Aries came in there, him and the big receiver. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you got dudes at Grambling alone. You had, you know what I'm saying. Even after me, you had Brandon Landers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we had guys.
Yeah, and Brandon was a dog too, man.
Dog, you had like there were dudes. Think about like you say Jackson, Casey Terrell.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Jimmy
He was
Oliver.
throwing the rock.
And the only thing about Casey though, when he threw that 6 interception game, that was the only knock on him. But he was a gunslinger he was a gunslinger. Robert Kent was a gunslinger.
Yep.
Jimmy Oliver was Jimmy Oliver was do it all, man.
He was a winner.
Yeah. And then like I said, if you go back, like you said, before Kent, we had TC at quarterback. TC was supposed to be the next quarterback after Mark Washington.
Yep.
And so, like, and it's not saying that he couldn't read the offense or nothing like that. TC was just like athletically, like freakishly athletic
Yeah.
for his size. So you move him to receiver.
And that was smart because now you put Ken at quarterback and he gave you a better option, better chance to win.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, man. But like you, man said, the kid where you really top 10.
It's tough. And it's not a knock on him. It's just like if we going, and like I said, if we going all time, you got to remember you got the Willie Titans.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You got the Coach Williams. You got Doug Williams. Then you got his brother that played quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So you have Mike Williams, his brother that was at quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You don't forget the other quarterback that was at Alcorn. You had Steve and Fred.
Yep.
So, like I said, when you start talking history, it's tough.
Man, that was crazy, man. I
Remember at FAMU they had what's his name? Quinn Gray.
They had Pat Bonner. They had Quinn Gray.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had some dudes up there. They had some dudes at
Look,
FAMU.
You had Alan Suba. Yeah, Suba ever like you like when you talk about black college.
And then, like you said, Ted White.
Ted White. Then what's the Pep Hamilton?
Mm-hmm. You had some dogs. That see. And we get so stuck, you know what I'm saying? We get so stuck on like what you see now that people forget that we, you know what I'm saying, we have some dogs on there. I'm gonna bring my guy Mr. Kitchens up here, man. How you doing, Mr. Kitchens?
Hey Doc, I'm doing great, man.
How you doing, sir?
Doing great. I'm doing great, man. Doing great.
What up, Smash? How you doing, man?
Good, Doc.
I'm good.
Okay.
Hey, man, we got, like I said, he's a SWAC killer.
What's good? Hold on. Turn this off.
But yeah. You got any questions for him, Mr.? Yeah, we can hear you, man. You got any questions, Mr. Kitchens?
You know, Doc, I really don't have any questions for Coach Eugene. I don't have any questions. I was just soaking in all that knowledge he was spitting.
Man, it was crazy. Like, just listen to all this. I was surprised. I was surprised. I'm trying to figure out where Mr. Ford is because Mr. Ford need to be on here, man. You got any questions for Smash?
Yeah, I got some questions for him. What up, Bruce? So pretty much, my name is Justin. I own Smash Time Productions, one of the biggest marching band channels out. I'm actually from New Orleans, and like we used to look up to you. I played for Tom LaFawn. I played for Jude in the park. You know what I'm saying?
So you played for the Panthers?
Exactly, but 2000, from 2005, we won championship. I was on
the yeah, you definitely did.
Exactly. So like I know, but when you say that, and that's a part of the questions I have for you, because like a kid like me who grew up under you and was in the SWAC or whatever, I understand from the streets of New Orleans to SWAC football, right? So a couple of my questions for you is, one, first of all, will you ever bring your 7-on-7 teams to New Orleans? Have you ever came down here? Do you plan on doing that?
I come down every year for the battle tournament. It's always in March. I always come to the battle 7-on-7 tournament. It's always in March around my mother's birthday. So I always come down there and I always do a party for my mom's birthday.
I bet I'm at I just launched my own sports network. I'll talk to y'all more about that next. I'm gonna definitely have to get up with you about it. And I got I'm a band head, so that Eye the Tiger show, I feel like it was before its time. You know what I'm saying? That they had with you on it. I want to know how much of that was scripted and how much of it was like just raw, because I know it was between Katrina and I know they probably tried to sell a story and like they always trying to make like you this overweight quarterback and this, that, and the third. So how much was scripted? Now that we can talk about it like that.
A lot of it was scripted because they were trying to create a storyline. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like I've never missed practice in my life. I've never missed practice in my life. I've never missed practice. Like people that know me know one thing. I'm at practice. You know what I'm saying? I lived at the football facility, watching film and things like that. So when they showed me missing, it kind of hurt. It kind of hurt with a lot of stuff I had going to the NFL at that time, because it made it look like I was this lazy kid and everything else when that wasn't the case.
Exactly. That's what we were saying. Like I played for St. James. Like Katrina came with the St. James. I won that state championship team, and we had beat John Curtis that year with Luther Ambrose. So it was just like, damn, y'all portray Bruce one way on TV, but we go to these games, I'm seeing them ball out. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing I always wanted to know from you. Was that show? I think shows like that, and as we talk about exposure for like HBCU, they need stuff like that for more real. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say it was before its time, but I like the band aspect of it too. My last question, because I got questions for days, something like that. How if you could be a part of the sports, I mean the SWAC, if you could be a part of the SWAC in any way right now, whether it be from coaching, whether it be administration, whether it be in league office, where do you think you can help the SWAC most beneficial
at? I'm a coach through and through. You know what I'm saying? I love coaching. I love having the battle of the wits with the opposing coach. So that's me when it comes to it. But I think now as I get older, just moving into the front office and helping continue to expand Black college football, I think that would be a good part. You know, because again, you got to be a visionary in this thing, and where do you want to see Black college football go? You know, a lot of people give Coach Prime a hard time, but in 2 years, he did exactly what he wanted to do. He did exactly what he said he was going to do. And he helped give us that platform that we didn't have prior to him. You know, so I thank him for that, but I think probably the front office, because I would want to continue to help the Black college football grow.
Yeah, man, and I graduated from Southern, so you know how I feel about Grambling. But I just feel like, you know, a person like you, like your voice needs to be heard. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times, like we get on these people about starting like newcomers to the SWAC and everything. With people like you, Bruce, like whether it's a tweet, whether it's a live after a game, just somebody who's like really in the SWAC and like go to games every weekend. I think that your voice needs to be heard more. All right, man, that's my time because I can really just take up the whole show. But I appreciate this opportunity to talk to y'all, man. We're gonna be in touch, bro.
Definitely appreciate it, man.
All right now. Mr. Ford, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Well, we got any questions for Mr. Eugene?
First of all, it's always good to talk to a Grambling legend.
Definitely appreciate it.
You had a fan base here in Atlanta, man, when you played, and I'm gonna tell you something. I think a lot of them love you not just because you could throw it all over the field, but they love your physique. They just, man, you had a heavy following in this city, man. But let me ask you this question, and this is something I posed to Black College great Hall of Famer I saw in Atlanta today on Cascade. If you ever been in Atlanta, you know everybody's on Cascade. And I asked him this question, and I want to hear your answer, and I'll tell you what his answer was. The question I posed to him, I said, what is the biggest problem in HBCU athletics, and how would you solve it? And so I'm going to pose that to you. What do you see as the biggest problem in HBCU athletics?
First and foremost, the lack of resources.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
When you look at some of these high school facilities, and you look at our facilities in the Black college, we're losing. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're losing. You know, that's why when you come in, when the HBCUs come into those type of high school institutions that have everything, why would they consider going to a Grambling? You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
This is what I've been known. This is what I've known for. This is what they are known for. So it's like I would have to say the resources and the support, man. Like, our support sucks in HBCU football.
Okay.
You know, when you look at the PWIs, they have 50, 60,000 people in their stadium. We can't get 15 into ours at certain games.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and we need to fix the scheduling conflicts. I don't think HBCUs need to play any games during the week. Because you notice when you play those Thursday night games and everything else, nobody's in the stands. Everything about HBCU is about the pageantry. You know what I'm saying? It's about the fan base being there. It's about, you know what I'm saying, the before the games, you know what I'm saying, the cookouts, the camaraderie and everything else. Then you go into the game. When you put those games on Thursdays during the week on school nights, nobody's coming.
You're right. I remember when they played Alcorn, all those Thursday games.
Yeah, so you know what I'm saying? We got to find a better way to sell the product that we're putting out there.
You have any questions, Mr. Kitchens?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Well, Mr. Ford, thank you. I think you asked a great question, and I'm going to answer Mr. Ford's question from from a perspective of someone who's worked in an athletic program at the HBCUs as a former marketing director, one of the biggest things I see that is a challenge for HBCU athletic departments is the fact that athletic directors primarily their job is to go out and raise money. That to me, that's their primary job. I understand that they're there to manage, but like presidents, they're there to go out and raise money.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they all go out and do that in an effective way. And to me, that's one of the challenges I see, because if you have a vision and a business plan and you can implement some things to raise significant dollars, I think a lot of the colleges' athletic programs could see some more income and revenue coming in. But when that's not taking place, I think there's a void. Um, I've never heard of a black college athletic program having a capital campaign. I know those are some of the most effective ways to raise significant dollars is to have a capital campaign that do a minimum of 5 years. So if we want to raise say $1 million over 5 years, we're going to do a capital campaign and we're going to find all kinds of ways to make that happen. And I just never hear about things like that happening. We kind of stuck on raising money off ticket sales and football sponsorships, but it's got to go a little bit further than that. And we got to get people who have that kind of income and businesses who have that kind of income to embrace what we're doing. And when there's no plan, there's no action.
Let me just say now, FAMU does have a capital campaign. It's been very successful since Willie Simmons has been there. He did I don't know if it was a 10-city tour, but I know he came to Atlanta, he went to Chicago, he went to DC, I know he went to Houston, maybe he went to Dallas, but he did have a capital campaign. If you look, they got a name for it. I can't think of the name. Hold on one second.
Man. Yeah. I understand when you got facilities, like I said, I'm in Dallas, I live in Texas, man, and you got high school stadiums here in Texas that look better than some. They look better than some D1 college football stadium.
Yeah,
like 15,000, 16,000 kids, people. I'm like, man, and it's crazy because like I always tell the missus, and I tell the missus, are like, if you go, we go on here. So like we went to Frisco. My stepson, he played. They played a school at the Star, which is the Cowboys' indoor practice facility, but it also doubles as the high school's football stadium. And I'm like, you got this right here, and it's owned by the Cowboys, part owned by the Cowboys, other owned by the Frisco ISD. And it's like, it looks so much better than some stadiums that we have in SWAC. Like,
Allen High School.
Oh yeah, I'm like 30 minutes from there. I'm 30 minutes from there, and even on our way to Allen, I look at like McKinney ISD. They just built the new stadium. That's where they had the D2 national championship game at. In McKinney, you got they just built another stadium, Prosper, which is north of Dallas. They just built the new stadium. Like when you get school, you get these one high school towns. When you get like these places that have one high school by itself, and it's like man, I don't see how they do it. I'm like, shoot, they keep the money within themselves, and they can do all that stuff.
Yep.
And like when we get, we always say, well, we get the money, like we have to like dish it out in increments. You know what I'm saying? Or like for certain spots to fund certain, everything that's pretty much at the university. So you're not gonna get, people always say, well, we're gonna give all this money, we're gonna raise this money, it's gonna go to the football team. That ain't happening. It's not happening. It's not gonna happen. You gotta fund everything else. You got non-revenue sports that needs funding also. So we gotta make sure that they stay afloat. So it's just a lot of things, just a lot of parameters when it goes on to it, man. But
Doc, let me ask this question to Bruce. This am I on twice? If I'm on twice, take me off one.
okay, I got you.
Okay. Now, Bruce, one of the things that NFL veteran was telling me today, he said that the SWAC should go after Morehouse. And he said that Morehouse has the money. And then at the same time, he says that the budget for football for every SWAC school should be at least a minimum of $5 million. Your thoughts on that?
You can go after Morehouse, but the thing about it is now you're looking at, because remember, what does Morehouse bring to the SWAC?
Now, let me say what he said. He told me that the football program would have to be built, but he said they can compete with the SWAC in basketball and track and field.
Okay.
Because that was one of the things I said to him. But he said that once if they would bring Morehouse into the SWAC, they would not play the games at Morehouse, but at Georgia State.
Okay.
Because he said the SWAC teams would bring the crowd.
Yeah, SWAC teams bring the crowd, especially everybody would love going to Atlanta.
Right, that's what he was saying.
Like we did when we came to play Morris Brown. I loved it.
Right.
I loved it out there.
So do you think that's feasible to go after? Now, the other thing he said about Morehouse, in opposition to my school, Clark, he said that at Morehouse, they wouldn't have to worry about Title IX because there are no girls. He said if you tried to bring Clark in, that meant that Clark would have to double the money because they'd have to pay for girls' sports and the men's sport. But at Morehouse, you only pay for the men's sports.
True.
And Doc, one of the things he said, he told me that the best owner in the NFL was Jerry Jones. You know, I looked at him side out about that. And he said that Jerry Jones was the smartest of all of the NFL owners. And he told me that one of the things they had done was that they had basically stopped black ownership of all of these teams that were for sale. He said the highest bid for the Denver Broncos was this Smith guy, who he's the guy who paid off the college debt of those kids at Morehouse.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. But he said what they did was to keep him from they did an investigation of him, and they found out that he could go 10 years running the Denver Broncos without any money from the NFL. So instead of giving him the money, basically what they did, they sold the Denver Broncos to Walmart.
Because they didn't want him with it.
Huh?
They didn't want him with it.
Right. They didn't want him with it. Then he gave the example of Magic Johnson came up with a group. They put in a high bid for the Commanders. And they found a way to keep him from taking over the Commanders.
Oh, his group didn't get it?
I don't think they did.
No, I thought his group was the one that finalized it. Was his group?
They did get it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so they got. Now, the other thing he told me, Doc, he said at the last owners meeting, $76 billion was on the table to be split by 32 NFL teams. Mm-hmm. And he told me that anybody that thinks the Falcons are going to try to be competitive, they can forget it. Because Arthur Blank making all that money, and the last thing he's trying to do is be competitive.
Yeah, you can. The way his picks are, you can kind of like.
That's what he was saying. Yeah, that's what he talked about. Because he said one of the things that Atlanta needs to do is get DeAndre Hopkins. He said the Falcons not going to even give him a call.
Nah, but when you got a young quarterback like they'll have, like if Ritter's going to be their guy,
yeah,
you need somebody like a DeAndre Hopkins. You know,
right.
same thing in Carolina.
Oh man.
Same thing in Carolina, you know what I'm saying? Like, and even in Houston is crazy. I would consider, because of the way the relationship ended, I would think about bringing him back.
Right.
Just to kind of, you know what I'm saying, fix that. But then you give CJ Stroud a veteran guy like that, anybody will take him.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And Man, Mr. Ford tried to get my son to go to Grambling.
Yeah.
He tried to get him to go to Grambling. He made the decision to go to Jackson State for academics. So,
Yeah.
so he tried to get him to go to Grambling. But I told him we're gonna visit, on the way down there, we'll visit so you can see what the campus look like and just walk around it.
I tell you what, they better not wait for my son. I'm just telling you, look, I got video clips of mine as a freshman.
Bruce, what was the main reason that Noah left Grambling?
Hugh cut him.
You cut him?
Yeah. Just like he just cut my 6'8", 325-pound, my tackle that started for him, Chris Chernak.
Yeah, 55. That was 55, right?
Yep. He cut him too.
He cut him?
Yep.
Man. Okay.
Yeah, the whole discussion about that, Mr. Ford.
So now Chris Chernak committed to Old Dominion.
Okay.
He committed to Old Dominion, so he's going to Old Dominion. And then, like I said, Noah's at Southern.
Right. Yeah.
He had a solid spring. I just spoke to him like a couple of days ago. He was like, Coach, I'm in a good place. He's like, mentally, I'm in a good place, and he's like, don't worry, I'm gonna do what I gotta do to win that job. So
okay.
Yeah, I think he'll do good, man, with Coach Dooley as being a quarterback coach, that can develop QBs too, man. Now I give Dooley a hard time. We give Dooley a hard time, but he do know how to develop QBs. So let's hope that he don't sour that relationship right
there. Yeah. Nah, he gonna be, like I said, he gonna be fine. He gotta do what he gotta do. You know what I'm saying? Like my kids, I'm always on them. I'm always tough on them, and I give them the real before they even get to college. So he already know. There's nothing guaranteed to you but an opportunity. What you do with your opportunity depends on you. So if you ain't getting the job done, I don't want to hear that the coach don't like me, the coach this and everything else. What did you do? And I'm like that with all my kids.
Bruce, what was your record in the Bayou?
I only won one.
So you were going against them Pete Richardson teams.
I won the one in Houston.
Oh,
and that was Spears was your coach or Doug?
Spears was my coach.
Spears, your okay.
I lost I lost the first one. I lost the first one in 2002. We still went to the SWAC championship game because we was already locked up.
Right.
But we lost that one. Then 2003 was the shootout, 44-41. We lost. That's when Quincy Reshaw had the game of his life.
Right.
In 2004, remember I was hurt.
The one I remember was you were crying after the game. Which one was that?
That was 2003.
Yeah, I'll never forget that.
41.
I'll never forget that.
2004, I tore my ACL. Remember, I came out like I was going to play, like I warmed up like I was going to play.
Right.
And then went back in to put my street clothes on. That was just to make Southern think I was going to play. And then 2005, we was in Houston, and I lit them up.
Right. Okay.
Mr. Kitchen, I got a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, me and Bruce, we were talking about top HBCU quarterbacks since 2000, and we was talking about where the Golden Boot put on there. I think Pooh Bear had Tavares at number 1, and then Bruce at number 2, and I think who was the number 1 on the other list? Bruce.
He had
Kill Glass was number 1.
Kill Glass 1, Tavares 2, me 3.
Yeah. I want to know, who will you have your number 1 QB, HBCU QB since 2000? Just since 2000.
Since 2000. Mm-hmm. Just since 2000. Okay.
Yeah, just since 2000.
And it's so subjective, but you have to go by stats. And I think you're talking to the guy who be ahead of the list right now.
See?
Because when we talk about passing yards, I mean, anybody who can throw for more than 12,000 yards in a career, man, they doing some passing. And Bruce Eugene, if my stats are correct, threw for more than 13,000 yards, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, it just bears it out that, hey, man, somebody throwing that much, that many yards. And you got to remember, you got to have guys to catch the ball. So if he threw for that many yards since 2000, I got to go with him if he's the guy who's got the most, because the other guys came before him. And there's not that many guys who have thrown for over 13,000 yards. It's not that many.
And that was 3 years, by the way. Because remember,
Right.
my
You did that in
freshman
3
year,
years?
I split time with Randy, and I only got one drive a game.
Okay.
So that was 3 years.
There you go. So I mean, you're looking at 4,000 yards a year. I mean, so what can you say beyond that? I mean, because how else do you judge a quarterback? I mean, you can say, well, he had more wins, but I always look at quarterbacks based on production, because the team helps you win a game, but a quarterback is the guy throwing those passes. And you know, I only saw Coach Eugene in a couple of games when he was playing, and he can sling it. He definitely can sling it,
definitely.
and he kind of is in that, you know, tradition that Coach Robinson saw when he started looking at trying to get guys for the NFL, getting them ready for the NFL. 6'4" guy who can throw the football was what Coach Robinson was looking at. And if you're going to have a 6'3" guy who can throw the football, who's talented, who can do things, I think, you know, that makes a big difference. So I would say if I had to go from 2000 to now, it will probably be Bruce Eugene and everybody else who threw for more than 12,000 yards behind him. You know, I have to go get my book. Doctor, to look at all the numbers. So I'm gonna go get my book, and then I'll be able to really tell you who lines up, because I got all you guys in my book on the stats. And of course, you know, the SWAC guys. I'll say this: the SWAC guys have been the guys who are at the top of the list in passing yards. So you got Steve, you got Willie, you got Bruce. I mean, they're all SWAC guys.
Yeah.
All SWAC guys.
Me, I can't. If you're gonna go MEAC, you got to go with Quincy. You got to go with what's his name?
Quinn Gray
from FAMU.
Yeah, Quinn Gray.
Quinn Gray.
Yeah.
Because he had that receiver Nunnally. He had that receiver
Nunnally
that caught 500 yards.
Canaan Lamb. He had Jacquay Nunnally, Canaan Lamb.
Nunnally was the receiver that set the record, and then
that's right. He broke Jerry Rice's record, right?
And then my receiver came in the very next year and broke his record.
That was that Douglas?
Tremone Douglas, yeah.
Yeah, I remember Douglas. I got two questions for you, Bruce. The first one: who had the best program in the SWAC that you faced in your years at Grambling? First question. Second question: excluding yourself, who was the best quarterback you went against in the SWAC?
All right, best program.
Best program. You know, I thought that during your time it was Pete Richardson. Now, what do you say?
I was gonna have to say it would have to be, because consistently it would have to be Pete Richardson and oh boy, who's at Alabama A&M? Who played with Doug?
Jones. Anthony Jones. Yeah.
Because his team, I hated the way they played, but they embodied his identity. And when he was there, they were consistently winning and dominating on the east side.
Yeah.
You know, on our side, besides us, yeah, it was definitely Coach Pete with Southern.
Right.
Like it didn't matter win, lose, draw with the record word. They was gonna play hard until you know what I'm saying, until the final zeros every time. Like Coach Pete had them playing, especially when they played us in the Bayou Classic with nothing to play for.
Right.
Like we would already be in the championship game, but they would come out with a different mindset and they would battle to the end.
Yeah, just looking at Pete, man. He look at you like you mess up, He looking at you like somebody granddaddy, like, hey man, you better.
Yeah, he took them glasses down. He took them glasses down and looked through your soul.
So my second question now about the quarterback. Who was the best quarterback you faced? Who did you think was the best?
The best quarterback I faced, because I went against some good ones. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I got a chance to see. I went against Darnell Kennedy his last year at Alabama State.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That was the game that Alabama State played the illegal players, and we got that win for it later on. But when they did the investigation, he was good. Quincy Reshard played the game of his life against us in the Bayou Classic when it was 44-41.
Right.
Robert Kent, you know, when we was at Jackson, he played. So it was like, there was no like consistently putting up numbers how I was. It wasn't too many quarterbacks in our league that was putting up the type of numbers I was putting up, but it would have to be, I don't know, it's like a toss up between, Quincy Reshard, Robert Kent, and I ain't gonna even say Darnell Kennedy because I played that 1 year and Tavares came in right afterwards. So Tavares did a good job, but I never lost to Tavares. So it would have to be those three guys.
So I got a question from my guy Hoop Jargon. He asked how you feel about Prairie View owning Grambling these days.
No, it's crazy. Like it's crazy because as I sit there watching it, I just, when you say State Fair Classic, the first thing is like, I think about the last time I threw for like 616 yards. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I was at that game. I was at that game.
So when I think about Prairie View, I think about two games. I think about when we were winning like 14-10 or 10 something like that at halftime, and I never forget. No, they were beating us at halftime. 10-7. I never get 10-7, and we went in the locker room and Coach Williams knocked over all the water coolers and nobody drinks nothing. We losing to Prairie View, and then we came out and we scored the first 5 possessions in the second half, and we beat Prairie View. So I think about that one. You know what I'm saying? That was the toughest one. And then I think about the 616 yards when we played my last year in 2005, and then that game there, it was crazy because from the beginning, me and the receivers were like, look, let's not come out and play with these people. And I'm talking about from the beginning that we just put on the show. And that's when Clyde Edwards did the flip into the end zone, like Reggie Bush.
I was at that game too, man. I was at both of the games right there.
So it's crazy now, but that's good. That's needed around the conference because Prairie View was a doormat for so long. And so now seeing them be competitive and everything else, that's what's needed around the SWAC to keep, you know what I'm saying, to keep making our conference better and better.
Well, let me ask this question. I want you to make the argument for or against. Should Doug Williams be in the NFL Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Why not?
Yes. He's the standard. He's the standard. Think about it. 2 Grambling guys were the standard. Shaq Harris being the first black to be in there.
Right.
Doug Williams being the first black to win the Super Bowl. He's the standard. He's what, think about it. Anytime a black quarterback have success, who are the first 2 people they go to?
Doug Williams.
Doug Williams, yeah.
Doug Williams, Shaq Harris. They always want to get them on for an interview. They need to talk to them. They need to get his point of view so he can validate the black quarterback. So we need validation. We need validation from him. He needs to be in the Hall of Fame because guess what? There'll never be another first.
Right.
Same thing they do with the Pro Football Hall of Fame. When you break an NFL record or something, they want your jersey, they want your cleats, they want all that to put in the Hall of Fame so people can see. Well, guess what? That's something that'll never be broken, never be done again because he was the first and only one. He was the first one to do it. There's been others to come behind him, but he's been the first. He should be in there.
Now, Bruce, did you play against Tennessee State?
Yes, I did. And I beat the brakes off of him.
But don't you think that should be a yearly game? Shouldn't Grambling be? Now, during my day, that was like the biggest game in black college football was for Grambling to go to Nashville or for Tennessee State to come to Grambling. What do you think about Grambling and Tennessee State playing every year?
I think it should be certain games should be played every year. You know what I'm saying? Like before Fam and Bethune joined the conference.
Right.
I felt like every year, that's how, and you notice that's how the SWAC-MEAC started. My last year in 2005, us and Hampton got into an argument because we were co-national champions.
Oh, that's a champ.
Right.
So that's when Durant and Coleman and all of them were saying, "Oh, if we'd have played y'all, we'd have did this." That's when they had the defense. They had Durant at linebacker.
Yeah,
and then
I remember
that
Durant.
offense we had that year.
Yeah.
That offense we had that year with Henry Tober, Clyde Edwards, and all them. So it was the whole. If we was to play, we would do this, and they started the SWAC-MEAC challenge that very next year after I graduate.
Right.
Because remember, Grambling played Hampton in Birmingham.
Okay.
And we had the game won. And Brandon Landers fumbled when the guy from Hampton like leg whipped him or something like that, and he fumbled, and then they got the ball. We went to overtime, and they beat us in overtime.
Right.
But that I feel like Tennessee State should definitely be that game now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that should definitely be the big game, because when we played them for the Literacy Classic, I think it was in Vegas.
Okay.
We played them in Vegas, and that's when they had the supposed to be #1 defense with the Abdullah kid at safety and the guy at running back, and by the time they blinked, it was 42-0. So it was like,
oh,
so it was one of those games where I threw for like almost 400 yards in the first 3 quarters. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
Tremont I had 3 receivers with over 100 yards receiving. Like it was one of those type games.
Bruce, let me give you another why not. I make the argument that the SWAC and the MEAC needs to combine. What's your thoughts on that?
I agree. That look, we're wasting time doing this whole. Think about it. With FAMU and Bethune moving over to the SWAC, right?
Mm-hmm.
The MEAC, the one team that's holding the MEAC down, besides, remember, A&T left.
Right.
So now you had South Carolina State, and now Central kind of took over as that team.
Yeah.
After the year they had this year.
Right.
But there's nothing else. You have Delaware State, Howard, Central, Morgan, and South Carolina State.
Right.
That's 5 teams. What are we doing? Like, granted, the travel, in terms of when you look at the travel, and because that plays a big part, traveling, getting people in the stands, getting people in the seats. So that'll be the hard part in terms of traveling.
The argument I make is that we need to follow the NFL model. We would have different divisions according to the geographical locations.
Absolutely.
I say don't try to recreate Will. Use the NFL model. Now, the other thing I said, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on this, I contend that Grambling and Southern, Jackson and Alcorn, Florida A&M and Bethune, Alabama A&M and Alabama State need to play twice. What's your thoughts on that?
I wouldn't play them because of the whole landscape with the East versus West.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't play them twice. You know what I'm saying? Like, playing them twice now, you're pretty much excluding the valleys, you're excluding the Pine Bluffs, and things like that.
But there's only 2 games now, Bruce.
But really, think about it.
And what I'm thinking about is, look at the amount of money you would make. The arch rivals would play at the beginning of the season, and then they would play at the end of the season. It would be just like New Orleans and Atlanta. The Falcons have to go to New Orleans. New Orleans has to come to Atlanta. I'm saying follow the NFL model.
No, I get what you're saying in that, but then you miss out on the money games.
Yeah.
Because think about it. Let's say, for instance, you come to me first, and I beat the brakes, and I beat you down. You think people gonna pay money to come watch me beat you down in your home state, at your stadium?
Listen, anytime Grambling and Southern plays, it's a pack house.
That's the granddaddy of them all. That's.
Well, what about anytime Alcorn and Southern play? I mean, Alcorn and Jackson plays, it's a pack house. Anytime Alabama A&M and Alabama State play, it's a pack house regardless.
Yeah, that's
a lot of money to be made.
That's your rivalry games, but
I'm saying play it twice, at the beginning of the season and at the end.
But you're only gonna have 12 games actually played. And
listen, you would still have 10 games. That would take away 2 games.
No, like I said, you exclude playing Pine Bluff and Valley. You know what I'm saying? Unless you make Pine Bluff and Valley you know what I'm saying, a rival versus each other.
Yeah, you would. Well, what they would do, they would pick their rival. Okay, who did you think would be Pine? What team in the SWAC could Pine Bluff play 2 times and make money? What team in the SWAC could Mississippi Valley play twice? It can't be Alcorn or Jackson.
That's what I'm saying. So it would have to be.
Yeah, it would have to be one of the biggest schools that you have to play twice.
That's what I'm saying. So they don't have nobody like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
S-Class, what's going on, man? I don't think you heard.
I would have to disagree with trying to use the NFL model because of logistics. That's the first thing. Logistics when they're playing twice. That's the NFL is the NFL, and they do things that way for a reason. For you to try to make that the model for Black college football, I don't see that being as viable as what the NFL model is, because I don't think our fans would really want to see that particularly. They have to play twice in one, play the same team twice in 1 year. I think that becomes a little bit of an overkill thing. I think folks like to see a little bit more variety. And other than the rivalry games, I mean, I know Grambling and Southern got a rivalry game. FAMU and Bethune got a rivalry game. Tennessee State can rival FAMU or Jackson State or Southern or Grambling. But to have that kind of overkill with playing 2 teams the same in the same year, that to me that would just be a little bit of overkill, especially when we talk about logistics and whether or not you're going to be able to get fans to want to come to the game. Because if you beat me bad the first time, I don't want to see it the second time.
But you would get better. What if you get better and look at the end? You play the first game, then it comes down to you 2 at the end of the season for the conference for the division championship. And then look at the amount of money that would be made. Listen, it's nothing for the Alcorn fan. I'm sorry, for the Texas Southern fans and the Prairie View fans to get together twice. That's only 40 miles, isn't it? What is that? What is it, Doc? How far is Prairie View from Texas Southern?
Oh no, that's fine. Like now, if you saying play your rivals twice.
Yeah, play your rivals twice. Look at the money.
If you saying play your rivals twice.
How far is it from Grambling to Baton Rouge?
But
2.5 hours, 3 hours.
But they're not playing.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
But are you talking about
with an Alcorn and Jackson playing 2 times? That's not a major thing. That's not a matter of fact. I think it cuts down on travel. If Alabama State and Alabama A&M played twice, what is the difference between Huntsville and Montgomery?
No, it ain't far. But I would say if you saying like that, so you pretty much saying start the season with the rivalry game.
Start the season with the rivalry and end the season with the rivalry game. All the money that could be made.
That wouldn't be bad if you start the season, because now every year you already know. You start, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
you start with the rivalry. So
what it's going to come down to is the presidents and the conference making the decision.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Unless they see something like that or something they really want to do, the presidents and the commission and the conference, if they don't see it, it won't happen. So
yeah.
And let me add to that.
Making that decision.
Yeah, let me add to that. As I was talking to that NFL veteran today, I asked him what was the biggest problem in HBCU football. He said the incompetence of the presidents. He said that most Black college presidents know nothing about sports, and that the alumni, the students, the faculty do not hold them accountable for bad decisions. That's why I asked you that question, Bruce, because I wanted to hear what you had to say, and I love what you said. But he said the biggest problem in HBCU athletics is those Black college presidents.
Yeah.
And he says, we do not hold them accountable. And many of them don't know anything about sports and how important sports is.
Yeah.
And Yeah,
Well, they just watchers. They only really care about football. They don't care about the other sports.
But you know what he said? He said at the PWIs that in order to get them jobs, you got to understand sports. He said they won't let them take a PWI job and they don't understand the importance of sport. He gave me the example of a school like Alabama. He said they wouldn't have no president that don't understand how important Crimson Tide football is. They wouldn't have it.
Yeah. Roll Tide all day, every day.
Yeah. And he said the president, that goes from the president on down.
But Mr. Ford, you know the difference though? For those schools like Alabama and Florida and the big schools, they talking about multi-million dollars. They talking about mega dollars. They talking about dollars from a lot of different perspective, donors, ticket sales. I mean, they're talking about millions and millions of dollars. And their presidents can't help but be on that business model to understand that from that perspective. I don't see our presidents being business minds to understand athletics the way they need to. So they don't inject and they don't do what they need to do. If they understood it better, they would do better.
Right. I understand. Oh yeah.
Well, I'm about to go ahead and get this squared away. I see the Miami Heat took a 10-point lead right now against Boston.
Please, I hope they win this game
right now. They're 15.
And my Dallas Stars are getting smoked again by the Vegas Golden Knights 4-0, and it's in the third period now.
This game 6, right?
Game 6 for us, man.
Ball game.
It is. But man, I appreciate everybody. I appreciate everybody coming on, man. Oh, let me see if I get my boy S Class up in here. S Class, what's going on, man? I think he hear me.
Nah, ain't nobody on yet.
Hey, Doc, while you're doing that, I just want to say, Coach Eugene, I'm gonna be reaching out to you in the future, man, to do an interview with you with my quarterback awards, because we're preserving the legacy of black quarterbacks. That's what our mission is, and you're a part of that, and we like to talk with you in the future, man.
Definitely.
I'll get your information from Doc.
Yeah, definitely. Can definitely be reached. It's crazy because I'm trying to get back. I'm trying to get into Texas, trying to find a job in Texas.
Oh, there's plenty of jobs here in Texas, man. Come on.
I'm trying to, man, but everybody. I'm trying to find a coach. I'm trying to find a coaching gig in Texas.
Hey, man, you come to Texas. You come to Texas. You come to the DLW area.
If they got coaching jobs, let me know.
I'm gonna see what I can find.
Texas
out.
Southern needs you.
Man,
so you can work with that body kid.
Look, I've been trying. Look, I want to bring me on to coach up Bodie. I definitely would.
Ooh, don't get him go down to Southern, because that would be ugly for everybody.
I'm trying to look to all Texas Southern. Tell them I'm free.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Or Prairie View.
I called Prairie View. I spoke to Bubba McDowell, tried to give him he was like he was gonna keep the staff he got.
Okay. Well, it's a place for you in the SWAC. We just have to pray on it. There's a place for you in the SWAC.
Yeah. I want to come home, get in the conference.
Yeah. I'd love for you to come home. And listen, I'm so glad you gave Mike Williams some play. Most people don't know nothing about Mike Williams. And Mike had a great career down at Grambling after Doug left.
Yep.
But nobody knows anything about Mike. I talk to people all the time. You said, do you remember Doug's brother? Doug had a brother? So yeah, he had a brother.
That was the first time I ever heard that.
Yeah.
Mike was good.
Mike was good. He played with the backup was a guy named Skip Ezell. Skip was from Shreveport.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played on some great. Mike played with a guy named Trumaine Johnson. Yeah, Trumaine Johnson.
A wide receiver.
Yeah. Trumaine Johnson.
Yep.
Yeah.
Trumaine.
He was sweet, man. He could do it, man. He was like a Frank Lewis, because Grambling has a plethora of wing backs. If you go back and look at the Eddie Robinson era, they had this thing they called the 26 counter. And if you whoever ran that, he was one of the baddest dudes in the SWAC, baby. That's a line of people. That's Charlie Joyner. That's
Sammy White.
Sammy White. Boy named Calvin Nicholas. Man, all them wingbacks were pro material. If you played wingback for Grambling, that was just like the tailback at Southern Cal. Wow. And that play was called 26 counter.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was Coach Eddie Robinson there, baby.
Man, but hey, we go with some Grambling history all day, every day.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. But man, got a question for you, Bruce, before we roll out.
What's up?
Who do you got? I'm saying it's gonna be a couple of games coming up down the pipeline. First game of the season, SWAC-MEAC Challenge, South Carolina State, Jackson State. Who you got in that game right there?
Oh man, I gotta go. South Carolina State is always tough. Always tough. Coach Buddy Pugh got them boys. I don't know where he get them from, but he always have some dudes. But I'm a rock with J State, man. I'm a rock with the SWAC.
Oh, yeah, that's right, baby.
And then we have second game of the season, Jackson State FAMU. Orange Blossom Classic. FAMU?
FAMU gonna get him now. Prime gone.
All right.
You think so, Bruce?
FAMU gonna get him now. They play him tough every year, except this past year. But,
yeah, this past year.
But
all right.
That team they had this past year he had a whip.
FAMU versus Grambling. And I think that FAMU go to Grambling this year, don't they?
I didn't think they were playing Grambling.
Yeah, I think they playing. Are y'all playing with Grambling?
No, Doc, pull it up. I don't think they're playing Grambling. Now they picking up Prairie View and Texas Southern. They got FAM has Prairie View for homecoming, and they got to go out to Texas. Got to go to Houston. I thought Grambling rotated off of FAMU schedule. Look on your computer.
Let's see.
Yeah, I don't think.
He just told me. Jordan told me they don't play. They don't play this year.
Yeah, because FAMU has to go to Houston this year.
Okay.
And Prairie View comes to them for their homecoming.
Well, I'm gonna say the last game of the season. Now you Classic. That's all the info you told me today.
So I'm gonna say this. I'm Grambling through and through. But I told people my son is at Southern. So I'm going with the Jaguar.
Boy.
I'm gonna get a lot of slack.
Yeah, you are.
But like I said, man, until I see consistency with Grambling, I just see what Dooley did with Southern in that first year. Right? He came in and he kind of they had an identity. You knew that was Dooley's team. We don't know what Grambling gonna be yet. We don't know which direction. Remember, this is about to be the second offensive coordinator in 2 years.
Right.
So we don't know yet. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't until I see them play that I can be like, okay, Grambling, but if I got to pick as of now, Southern.
Well, Bruce, as a Grambling graduate, I'm going to say this. He got to win 9 games. Grambling got to win at least 9 games this year.
This year?
Yeah.
Man, that ain't happening.
Listen, if it don't happen, that seat going to be real hot. I'm going to tell you. Just from talking to the people up here in Atlanta from Grambling, he got to roll this year. He got to roll.
Look, Mr. Ford, let me tell you something. I wish those people would have been around when I was interviewing for the job and trying to get speak on my behalf.
Oh yeah. Well,
let me tell you something, man. We don't even own our own state in recruiting how we used to.
Damn.
Grambling ain't used to let nothing. If you ain't go to LSU or Tulane, you was coming to Grambling. Southern had a few, but we owned our state back then when I was playing. Even the Dallas area. We had Dallas, Houston, Birmingham, Atlanta, New Orleans. That was our team. We can't say that now. You know what our team is now? California.
Yeah, California. Yeah.
And California and whoever. I don't know who else. Like, I don't know. Like, we got some transfers coming back in, but you don't know. Like, we don't know the makeup of our team. Those hotbeds that we owned all those years, we don't own no more.
Sam, go sit down. Go sit down.
I think y'all can get back into Dallas. I mean, it's still not a hard spot to recruit Dallas.
Isn't that
Grambling's largest alumni is in Dallas?
Yeah, but we got to beat Prairie View.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't be losing the biggest game, you know what I'm saying? Like, the biggest game in Texas. We can't be losing.
At the Cotton Bowl, huh?
Like I watched the game on TV last year. It was embarrassing seeing how empty the stadium was.
It was 53,000.
I was there.
It was 53,000, right?
So if they expanded the Cotton Bowl, it's like 90,000 people.
Oh, okay, that's what it looked like. I'm about to say it.
Yeah, it was one. It's in the top 10.
I was at the game, man. Shoot, it was that
53,000. I think it's 53,000.
Because I was looking like, yo, man, where the people at? Because I'm so used to when I was playing.
Yeah, even
with Prairie View being as bad as they were.
Oh yeah,
they were coming in there.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I used to look forward to that. Who you rooting for? PVU. I used to love doing that, making fun of them on the song. You know what I'm saying? Like them and Jackson State. Let me tell you something. I love playing at Jackson, or I love playing Jackson because I love to hear Jackson band come in playing that Get Ready.
Yeah.
I love them playing. Yeah. They come in playing that. That was the excitement. Like, woo, 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 woo. I used to love that. That was, okay, time to drop 50 on them.
Hey. Yeah.
That was our song back then when I played. We took the Lachingi song that everybody in the club getting tipsy. We took and remade that song and said everybody play Grambling get 50.
See, you ain't have to do me like that, bro. Mm-hmm. You had to do it like that. But I mean, it's already what was done is done. It was already done. One last question, and then we're gonna roll up out of here. Paul Tank Younger, does he belong in the Hall of Fame?
Yes. 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 I don't know what they're doing, what they're waiting on, but yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I agree wholeheartedly. First HBCU player to be drafted to play in the NFL.
But that's the point. Why is it even a discussion? Again, when you talk about the Hall of Fame, they always want to make sure to say that they like to put the first. Right. You know what I'm saying? That everybody's breaking records. He broke the barrier. That should have been. He should have been in there.
That's true.
He should have been there. Like, I don't know what we waiting on.
And I thank everybody. I thank everybody for coming on. Bruce, man, I thank you for coming on, man, and gracing the channel. Gonna have to do this. We're gonna have to do this again.
Call me, man. Like I said.
I got you, man. I got you. We're gonna have to do this again. Just the Ford as always. I'm sorry I couldn't get my, like I said, I can't get my stepson to Grambling, but he gonna be in the SWAC. He gonna be at the HBCU, so he just gonna be at my alma mater. He gonna be at Jackson State. So
you know what I'm saying? You know in life, people make bad decisions. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody can't be a G-man. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, he decided to go to the place of the blue and white tiger, which I've never seen. So we just go. We've never seen the blue and white tiger. We know we used to beat up on one, but we've never seen the blue and white tiger.
Oh man, but nah, he a good kid, man. So I told him be a college student and enjoy and get your education first, but enjoy it all around. You only get it one time.
Absolutely.
And as always, Mr. Kitchens, man, I thank you for coming on and
appreciate you, Doc.
And we're gonna have some more talks. We're gonna get some more talks in about the Orange Blossom Classic and get some matchups going in coming on probably around about that week of Orange Blossom Classic. So we can get some things out there, man. So I will hit you up about that and we can break down the film and also look at certain key players for both teams. All right. Man, I have like everybody, thank y'all for coming on. I know I had a 2-day hiatus. Well, 3 day, 2 days, 3-day hiatus. But like I said, graduation, that was the more important thing for me right there to see my stepson graduate.
Congratulations, man.
Yep. So and it's a true embodiment. So like I said, I got 3 kids that graduated high school. And all 3 of them in college.
All right.
So
that's what's up.
So my oldest daughter's in college, my stepdaughter's in college, and my stepson's in college. And then the last one I don't have coming graduating high school till 2032. That's it. I ain't having no more. Having no more, man. But I thank everybody for coming on, man. And make sure I'll probably be back on, Mr. Ford. Try to come back on tomorrow.
Okay.
I got to find a topic to talk about.
Okay. Oh, it's always something to talk about in sports.
Oh yeah.
Like I told you, my son is up next. 6'1", 225.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about your son, man. Send me that film. Send it to me on Twitter. I got you, man.
Hey Bruce, what school is it? What's his school?
He's at Cal. He's at Cal in Atlanta.
Oh yeah, the Longhorns.
Yeah.
You know they had a quarterback went to Southern. He left and went to he went to Benedict with Coach Tennis Berry, John Lampley.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know about Cal. Oh yeah, that's Cobb County.
My son is 6'1", 225. He already got the offer from
Is he like you? Already. Is he like you?
Nah, he a D lineman.
Oh, you D lineman. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
I didn't want him to play quarterback because I didn't want him to have all that pressure of following
right. Okay.
Nah, he a D lineman. He a DN.
Oh yeah. We know about them Cal Longhorns.
Oh yeah, he the goods now.
Yeah, they had a guy named Jonathan Dwyer. He went to Georgia Tech. Went to the Steelers. Running back. He was a tough boy. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Now, Doc, I'm gonna send you a couple of clips from his spring game.
Okay. I look at it, man.
You'll see what I'm talking about.
Already. I look at it. And then I'm gonna see if I'm gonna talk to some people if I know as far as coaching and stuff like that.
Yeah, see if they need a quarterback coach or offensive coordinator, man.
Oh yeah. We need to call everybody in the SWAC. Because to me, the weakest position we got as far as coaching is quarterback coach. We need all the quarterback coaches we can get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let me go ahead and get everybody off, but I appreciate everybody coming on tonight.
Thanks again, Doc.
All right, thank you. Oh man, that was a great show, y'all, man. That was a great show tonight, man. If you've done it by now, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure that you look at all the other videos that we have out, live shows that we have out on there. Look at the HBCU Saturday Night Live with Doc and She Loves D. We're going to be on it this year for football season. So, man, it was a great show tonight. I learned a lot of things about Coach Bruce Eugene, and we need to get my man back into the SWAC. But like I said, this has been another HBCU Overdrive live stream. And before we do that, I gotta do my sponsor announcement. HBCU Overdrive is proudly sponsored by WeWorkForEverything.org. At WeWorkForEverything.org, this is for those who are trying to build for a dream with their latest hoodies, t-shirts, long sleeve shirts, and accessories and more. You can have it all here at a reasonable price. Black owned and operated out of the great state of New York. Like I said, get suited and booted. Check it out at WeWorkForEverything.org. Peace. All right, man. Make sure that you like this stream. Make sure that you comment, share, most of all subscribe. Hit that notification bell to get everything HBCU Overdrive. And if you want to get exclusive membership, all you have to do is just hit the join button on the outside of the chat. We have 2 tiers, Overdrive Blue, Overdrive Purple. You'll get everything. You'll figure out all the stuff that I got coming up before everybody else knows. We are 16 away from 1,700 subscribers. Let's get 16 more people to subscribe to the channel and get to 1,700, and then we're going to move on to 1,800. But again, I am your host. I am your boy. I am your family, Doc Holiday. We are back on this thing tomorrow.